All right, all right, godlings. Let's talk about math again, okay? Right? No, seriously. Okay, so I have a minor in math. My major is psychology, minor in math. Okay. Now I just got thinking about stuff. I think a lot. Anywho, so once upon a time, long time ago, I'm in regular school, public education, right? I'm not good at math. I don't like it. I thought it was torture when they gave it to me. And it was. I mean, if they'd waited a little bit longer, I might have been okay with it. But no, they wanted to force it down my fucking throat, right? And this was just, I'm talking about in first grade, right? And they got the facts sheets. And I'm talking about regular multiplication, just regular shit. Multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, right? I just couldn't get most of it. Like, I got zeros and fives and twos, I think. Threes and fours were difficult for me. Sevens, eights, and nines. And I was trying to memorize it, right? And what's funny is because I found out in college, when I went to college, they don't teach math right in public education. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's obvious, I think, at this point, because so many people were in the same position as me, had to start out at basic high school math when they started college again, right? So it's obvious they weren't teaching it right. And then I got thinking, because I was trying to memorize this shit. You can't memorize math. You have to know the patterns. Now, I get to understand this math, and people talk about this all the time, right? Now, addition and subtraction, you use that. That's basics. Addition and subtraction, everybody uses pretty much every day when you're buying stuff and going places. But multiplication, division, yeah, a little bit here and there. And then everybody talks about algebra, right? I ended up going through intermediate algebra and trigonometry and through statistics, basic statistics, right? I was kind of curious, but at that point, my brain was mush on it. But I am studying more later. But anywho, let's go back to the basics. So then people say, well, like algebra, like, well, when am I ever going to use this? And well, you're not. Okay. Now, there's some places that you have to know mathematical equations. Most people don't, right? Most people do not fall into the category of needing to know advanced mathematical equations, right? Now, when you go through the equations and stuff, what it does, it helps you with your critical thinking. That's the idea, is it? And it does. It's like a puzzle and exercises your brain, kind of like your muscle, right? But the funny thing is, I got thinking about it. It's like, okay, it does that. I know that part. But then you get thinking about it. It's like, okay, where are we going to use like a quadratic equation, right? And I got thinking about this because they had me studying all this math, and I just wanted to be a counselor. People are like, well, they thought I was going to be some rocket scientist, right? Why are you studying all this math? I'm like, I don't know. I'm a counselor someday, and a distraught housewife comes to me and says, help, my husband's in jail and my kids are on drugs. What do I do? I said, I don't know, but I know how to solve a quadratic equation. No, but then I got thinking tonight again about all this math stuff, right? It's like everybody says, well, what are we going to use this for? Now I got thinking, you're not. But then I got thinking, I was like, well, what do they usually? I don't think I ever remembered or thought to ask this question, right? As we're doing all this math, these calculations and the quadratic equations and whatever else, the statistic variables and whatever, all this. Now, statistics, I understand where we can use that. I understand where they use it to lie, too, but that's another story. But anywho, so then I get thinking, I was like, well, like a quadratic equation. I'm not going to use that in counseling. I'm not going to use that at the grocery store. And I'm certainly not going to use a quadratic equation on my taxes every year. However, we get thinking about this, and it's like, okay, I never thought to ask, well, where do they normally use that? Someone's got to have the answer, and I didn't look it up yet, but I just got thinking because my whole time there, see, this is what I'm thinking about this. Out of my whole time, I mean, yeah, you can say, okay, you need to know addition and subtraction because when you go to the store, you need to know. Well, that makes sense. It makes complete sense, right? Well, algebra. Well, why do I need to know this? Where am I going to use this in life? Well, you're not. Okay, well, where do they normally use it? Like a quadratic equation. Well, where am I going to use this in life? You know, you're not. Well, where do they usually use it? I kind of like to know, you know, because you never know, you know. I don't know. Because, well, I'm starting to lose my train of thought. It's derailing. Anywho, points to ponder, math, whatever.